you say Shot City?
Yo, we're back with another episode of Walkie Talkie. Today with the homie CP here in Chicago. CP,
yes,
say
sir.
what's up.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chicago, the Windy City. Yeah, we got it all right here. I mean, you're seeing the architecture on full display. We got the Tribune Building, the Wrigley Building, Trump Tower.
Today is actually CP's birthday, so in the comments, say happy birthday, say what's up.
Dude, don't
because
remind
he's
me.
taking time out of his day to be on this. That's crazy.
There's no other way that I want to spend my birthday than with you, Paul, on the streets, making street photos.
How long you been shooting?
I started in 2016, had like a 4-year run, took 4 years off, and then I'm a year back into doing it.
How would you describe your style of photography?
I mean, I would say finding the extraordinary in the ordinary, as generic as that is true. That's the magic for me. You know, coming out in public and it's this chaos and isolating something that is, you know, absurd or, I don't know, special or has a lot of emotion or what have you.
Where are we shooting today?
Actually, most of the time now, I'm on Michigan Avenue, north of here. I still sometimes come to the Loop, but it's not as many people as it used to be before the pandemic.
Does it feel like it's coming back, or is it just kind of flat?
I'd say it's flat now. Certainly through like 21 and 22, there was a reemergence of people, but I'd say it's 40%, maybe at most half of what it used to be. Welcome to Indianapolis. Is sort of how it feels. No disrespect to Indianapolis. So let's spend some time down here. This is one of my favorite corners in Chicago, which is Michigan and Randolph. That's actually a good reminder. Dude, I should have done a selfie with him. I'm doing a new style of street photography where it's like you just mirror the people that you're capturing and you do it together. Dude, I just gave myself a fucking foot cramp. Oh my God, dude. We need to get agua. We need to get hydrated, Paul.
There's a birthday reminder.
Dude, getting old sucks. What's up, brother? I was getting you in the mirror there. Looking good, man. Off the reflection. Dude, I remember when I first got this camera, I was so amazed by the shallow depth of field. It's like, if we're gonna shoot wide open. I want razor thin. I want to see the hair on the orange. And now I'm like constantly shooting at f/18.
You ever get in like confrontations and stuff out here?
Not as much anymore. I don't know, I think part of that is getting older. You kind of mellow out. I'm probably better about who I take photos of. Oh, dude. Perfect, The Godfather, man. I love the tea.
That's good.
Yeah, what's up?
Do you know how to chase it?
Chase?
Yeah, it should be a chase.
Like the
over
Chase
there.
building or just like where you can get an ATM?
Yeah.
Yeah, just to your right. Right, immediate right. A very immediate right.
Yeah. Like walk against the wall.
Oh man, have you seen the Todd, I think it's a Todd Gross image, and it's a blind person with a cane, and they're walking directly into a wall?
Yeah.
Dude, I just about had it right here.
Just now?
No, this is like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, damn.
And like she was coming up, and she was like coming into this wall. I'm like, I think I have it. And I thought through the ethics of that after the fact, as I was like secretly hoping for a blind person to run into a wall. I'm like, oh man.
So to be clear, you did not intervene. You
No, I
just
did not.
let. It's fine.
Good.
It's what we do. It's
we're
what we
here as
do.
an observer.
Yeah, it's what we do.
I'm a watcher.
I'm glad that that's what you want to put
Dude,
out
I
there.
took a photo the other day of someone that fell over. I'm like, look, that's different. You know, I couldn't get there in time. I might as well maximize the opportunity. If I fell over, I'd want someone to use it, like put it to use. This is my superpower.
What is that?
Dude, come on. Nicotine, the nicotine pouches. I stopped vaping. Dude, I got hooked. You know, so I'm like constantly sucking on this thing. And I heard someone call it the fedora of the mouth. And I thought I had to stop.
That's what did it for you?
Yeah. I'm like, nah, I gotta stop. I'm not putting a fedora on my mouth. Like it made me feel bad. You know, that like queasy in your stomach. So I switched over to these.
How often are you just sitting on a corner versus roaming?
Nowadays, a lot more. Yeah. Just because I feel like there's less corners that really will have something going on, really have a good throughput, have good light. Oh, just see, this is what we're talking about. Oh, beautiful. Perfect. Thanks, guys. Oh. Oh, it's twins. Oh, beautiful. Thanks, guys. Twins. You always got to go for it with twins. Oh, perfect. What's that? Do you have a name?
Rosie.
Can
Absolutely.
Yeah. Perfect. Hold on. And I'll get close here. Oh my God, Rosie is a superstar. We've documented it. Beautiful. Have a good one. I got you. Yeah. I'll come with you. Yeah, I'll send you.
Awesome. Thank
Send you pics.
She's technically hers.
Okay. Oh yeah. Here. Can I get a photo of both? All three. Let's get in here. It's a family affair. Rosie's. Is it Rosie's first visit to Chicago? Oh wait. Here we go. Now look at me. Perfect. Yeah, I'll send that one to you guys. And
Thank you so
I'll just let you get a couple. Oh yeah. Go in there on the pet. Yeah, 100%. Here. I'll use your phone.
Yeah.
What type of lizard?
Bearded dragon.
Bearded dragon. You know, I've watched the skin peeling videos on Reddit.
The what?
The skin peeling videos.
Yes. Oh
Dude, those are, yeah.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
she loses her skin, it's not pleasant for her.
Yeah, I saw one where like it took the skin out of the nostril, and I thought, what relief it must feel.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, you guys have a great one.
Thank you so
It's so nice
much.
to
I
meet you.
appreciate it.
Oh yeah, this is her backpack too.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. If you guys put her in that, I see you again. We're gonna get another photo. I don't know if you feel this way. There's a lot of times where like I meet people, and it doesn't really turn into a good photo, but it's fun. I don't know. That's definitely one of the things I missed. More so than even like having the images. I mean, I definitely want to make good images, but like just being out in the street is like, I just enjoy like being around people. Perfect. Thanks, man. Brian, right? Dude, what is up, buddy?
Man, good to see you, bro. How are you?
Dude, it's so good to see you.
I know this guy. What's going on, man? How are you?
Doing really well. Are you live in Chicago?
I do.
I haven't seen him since college, 20 years ago. He's such a nice guy. It's cool to like, you run into somebody and you see him doing well.
A little bit of gear talk. What's the gear that you use these days?
Canon 7D. This is the first camera I bought.
Ever.
Yes. Like 13 or 14 years ago. The story about it is that I bought this for work and I started doing I did the company portraits. I think I did some video. And I went out and got hammered in Wrigleyville, like with my coworkers. We drank a bunch. So I got blitzed and left it, and I thought I had lost it. So I immediately went on Craigslist and was like, where can I find another 7D to replace this? And I'm never gonna tell anyone. So I bought this one for myself. And then like a day later, I backtraced and went to every bar that I was at and actually found the other camera. And I learned an important lesson about corporate assets.
What focal length are you shooting?
So it's a 24. It's about the equivalent of a 35. I think it's like 36 and a half technically. 2017, I went full in on film. And I was using a point and shoot, 35 millimeter. I was shooting mainly Kodak Ultramax 400, going through like almost a roll a day. And that was expensive back then. And then when I came back to this a year ago and I checked the prices, holy shit. It was like 3 or 4 times just for the cost of film, let alone like the processing and development, all that. Yeah, that encouraged me to come back to digital. But I think George in one of your videos talked about it. I mean, like ultimately, after shooting film for 3 years, I rarely got prints, from the negative that were enlarged. So it was like, I'm doing this really arduous, protracted process to make like a digital image. So I'm like, if I'm not really like if I don't care about the process of developing it and scanning it and all that, and I'm not having a show that I'm printing stuff, like I'm just really making a digital image. I don't know, like, why am I spending this much money? But I do have all the prints in my closet, and no one can fucking take those away. Photo right here, perfect. Yeah. Can you put your hand back up? Can you put your hand back up as you were? Yeah, your hand right here. Can you put your hand right? Can you put your hand right here? Yeah, 100%. Dude, thanks, buddy. God. That's one where, you come up into a situation and you kind of interrupt it, and then oftentimes, like, you don't even get what you fucking want because they see you. But anyways, they look great. That sticker on there with his hand. Dude, I can't believe people can shoot and talk to you. Most of the time when I'm shooting, I'm trying not to think. Like, really. Like, that's usually the goal, is like no thinking, Oh, perfect. Should have shot from the hip on that one.
What's your ratio from shooting from the hip versus looking through the viewfinder?
No, with this setup, I'm like always going from the eye, basically. Now, I have this little guy back here. This is my Nikon Coolpix. Look how cute this guy is. The autofocus is so slow. There's like no options. It's part of the charm. But I shoot on this like almost every day. It's better when there's good light.
What's the thought process of bringing that out versus using the 7D?
It's wider. I don't know, I like shaking it up sometimes.
Yeah, just like off the whim?
Yeah, but a lot of times I'll do, like when it's real light out, it's just like this. Yeah, and like you just walk right up to someone. It's funny. Like it's actually shooting from the hip. The problem is that this is slow. I need to get something faster. But like anything that's really difficult, like it's more rewarding when you get something that works. And that sounds really stupid, that you like purposely make it difficult for yourself.
You created a whole nother Instagram just for the Coolpix photos.
Yeah, I did. Coolpix Bebop.
Why not just throw that onto your regular Instagram?
I mean, at first I kind of thought of it as a project, which was about limitations. How do you purposely give yourself like really strict limitations, and can, creativity supersede those? Maybe it catalyzes some additional creativity. It's like, you look at directors, and sometimes a director's best film is when they have the least amount of budget, right? So it's like, okay, how do you lower the budget for yourself digitally to try to achieve something? I still haven't made up my mind about it. It may be idiotic, but we'll see. I'm having a good time with it.
When you shoot, is it all flash, or do you kind of pick and choose?
I like using flash now. I mean, the light's coming out here now. A lot of times, especially this year, or this time of year, there's a lot of shadows. Look, why not carry the light with you? Oh, fucking perfect. Thank you. By the way, I say the fucking perfect for them. I'm not making a commentary about my own photo. Like, nailed it.
That's good clarification.
Whatever. What's up? Hey, what's going on? Yeah.
You ever talk to the right?
Yeah, for sure. You guys want to pick?
She said she knew.
Oh yeah, I got this. There we go. Maybe a little more teeth. Come on. There we go. Perfect. There we go. See, that was a little warm up.
She said she knew you.
No, hold on.
She said she
We
wanted
always
a picture
gotta-
with you.
Okay, I always do a selfie.
She wanted
So you
a
got-
picture with you.
Oh, okay, yeah,
You
100%.
famous?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I do it.
Okay.
Say cheese.
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 Are we throwing up gang signs? Are we doing gang signs?
okay.
Let's come on. Let's throw a couple gang signs up.
Thank you so much.
Okay, stay in school.
Thank you. Stay in school.
See you guys.
Are you really known like that in the streets?
Are you famous? Sure.
When you came back after that 4-year break, did it take a while for you to build up the courage to flash people again, or you just like right back on it?
No. I felt rusty for sure, like a little hesitant. I don't think I ever felt like scared or fearful or anything. Like even when I first started, like I distinctly remember the first time I came with the flash, and again I was like hesitant. But you fire the first couple and you realize that people really don't care. It's like, it's game on. That's the one thing I would say to anybody that's new, particularly if you're thinking about transitioning or trying out Flash. Like, people don't care. It's like, you're out here making the photos. You've probably already gotten people that have had a bad reaction. Don't worry about it. It's not going to increase because you use Flash. I mean, yes, you're less obvious. I don't think I notice people an adverse reaction any more so than just you taking their photo. And then it's fun. They look great.
Can you talk to me about Shy SBC, Chicago Street Photography Collective? What is it? How did it come about?
Yeah, part of the history, as you know, is like, this goes back to what, like 2018? We formed it then as a quote unquote collective, which seemed to be in vogue. I had seen, San Francisco do that. I'd seen New York do that. But, we only had 4 of us. You moved away, which I'm still upset about. But yeah, it just kind of fell apart. But we did keep a critique group going. And I felt like what I learned from that is I don't even understand what the purpose of a collective is anymore, like, frankly. No disrespect to any collective, but I don't quite get it anymore. The thing to me that was important though was like, how do you build some type of community and how do you essentially build a room for critique of like trusted people, who are doing the work, have some level of ability, have some level of like taste or opinion. And when I came back to it last August, that was like one of the goals for Amato and I, was let's get a room back together. And the room has been the best thing. It's my favorite day of the month. And then furthermore, like Amato and I always talked about wanting like to have a scene in Chicago. It's just something that I don't think there's been any continuity of over the course of, the last few decades. And I'd seen from George and NYC, like the effect of that. By the way, dude, George is a G. Like, seriously. Yeah, I don't think George gets enough credit for all the work that he did to bring that all together. I remember I went in like 2017, and that's when they were still relatively new. I went in the beginning of 2017, and they're like meeting at the basement of this retail store. That was the first time I've been in a room full of like other street photographers. It was wild. I felt bad about bringing my 10 images. I was like, oh no.
How'd it go?
I think I still showed them, but I was like, oh God. Next, which is good. I mean, I think that's healthy. I mean, you can't get discouraged, but we've got Nina, who's like relatively a beginner. We've got JCA, who's sort of like a beginner. It's so cool to see like people that are new and their trajectory, like those newbie gains, like weightlifting, is exciting. Like it's really cool. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Yeah, you're looking good, man. I love it. They're following him and recording. We're gonna hang over here. Let's see what's up. Oh, you guys look so good.
Oh, thank you.
What are you celebrating?
That's my son's birthday today.
Okay, up there? Is that your son?
No, that's my daughter.
Oh no, I mean holding the balloons.
Oh no, he's a photographer.
He's a photographer. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you guys look fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ellie, look back.
See you guys.
She said you look fantastic.
Oh, I love it. Thank you.
Are they really going on? I want to sneak in here for one up close. I think so. And a birthday suit. Uh-oh. What? I don't understand the coaching that's happening right now. The direction, I think the direction is questionable at this point. Here, do you mind if I just get one right here? On. Okay, we're gonna go up here. Perfect. Thank you very much. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Do you know it's my birthday today too? Look, I put a lot of thought into my outfit as well. Oh, dude. Perfect. Loud and proud, I like the teeth. Oh my God, these. Dude. Fucking crushing it with those, dude. Those are fantastic. Those are the best footwear I've seen today. Dude, I've never seen a corgi that's not having the time of its life. Like every single one. It has to be the happiest dog. Oh, sorry, I just like your shirt. Good, we talked about that one earlier. Hand on top of the pylon. I got crystals in my pocket. That's my manifesting power. Perfect. Perfect, thank you. Look, I'm getting better at, blind. It's like, it takes a lot of practice.
What's the focal length on that? It's pretty wide, right?
Yeah, it's pretty wide. That's a good question. I do know this, it's 7 megapixels. This is the L12 for all the cool pics aficionados. Dude, I had like 6 of these things. I kept buying them on eBay. They last for like a couple weeks and they chomp through batteries, but this one has lasted. I got one like out of 6 that really lasted. And I started giving them names that started with L, like Lucy, Lana, Laura. I don't know if I gave this one a name. That might be the trick. So I'm at 1/250th for shutter speed, and like I hold that's why I manage the shutter speed, and then I'll ramp up the ISO, so I'll get like f16, f18. I don't know. Have you ever seen? I saw Mark Cohen. Someone put it online, one of his books. I forget the name of it, but he's all close. It's like such a mood. I think he's a great example of someone like individual photos. Maybe it's tough to compare to say like a Winogrand, but when you put those things in a sequence, it's dynamite.
Speaking of sequence, you just came out with a zine recently, your first
Overtime, #1.
First zine, right?
Yeah, after like 7 years of doing it.
What was it like right now, this is why I want to do it? Because it's only a 1 month zine.
Thank you. Yeah, I did it in 1 month, May. 80 photos, went as hard as I could. Did like almost 400,000 steps. Well, I tried putting the zine together before COVID, before I stopped in 2019, but it was all on film. And all I had were these like low-res scans. So I'm like, oh shit. Not only did I put some photos together, then I'm realizing like I'm gonna have to get these all rescanned, like all of that. And then, I got focused on work, so I let it go. And then now that I came back to it, in May is like when the city opens up, and I felt like now's the time. I had like 6 months of practice at that point. I felt like I was getting back to like my old self, quote unquote, and it was great. I had so much fun. And I put together in like 4 or 5 days. I just like worked nonstop, printed them out in 4x6s. I don't know, I know you've talked about the workflow. The workflow for me, just like high level, is a pool. So like anything that you think can work. And sometimes you can surprise yourself because there's a pair of photos that maybe one individually, it's not something you share on Instagram, but like you put it next together something, it syncs. And then you just go through this process of like trying to pair stuff. You get it down to like 60, 70 pairs. And then that's when I had Amato help me edit it. So now I'm getting his opinion. And then now you window that down. And 4x6 is like, you're putting them together side by side, getting an order, all that. You just keep tightening it and tightening it. But in the end, I didn't want to be too precious about it. I just like committed to the fact that I want to get it out there.
Can you talk about the influence Angelo Partemi and Troy Holden had in the
Yeah, for sure. So I 2017 or 18, that's the first time that I bought a street photography zine. And I bought like People Are Strange from Troy. He was probably my biggest influence at that time. And then Angelo too. I bought, I think it was Too Much Freedom. And that has like remained the blueprint for me of like what I think the best form of an output in street photography is like quote unquote a zine. It's 40 to 80 photos, full bleed or close to it. Always a pair, 5.5 to 8.5 inches, and then a length that you can do in like 10 to 15 minutes. So it's almost like a roller coaster ride. You get in, you're gonna look at every photo all in sequence. You can go from beginning to end. And I think that's cooler to me than even necessarily a larger book, where the user experience is that you're just gonna like go through X amount, set it down, have to come back to it. It's not like one unifying experience. So to the day, man, I still think that's the coolest thing ever. I think Troy is like completely slept on, like honestly, for how good he is. I don't know, it's tough, dude. It's tough. You publish something and you look at it and you're like, this is dog shit. Like I looked at like Alex Webb, Dislocations. I looked at that last night. I'm like, what am I doing? I mean, it's inspiring. You're like, shit, dude, I've been doing this for fucking years. Probably, I'm never gonna be that good. But, I don't know, there's still something to contribute. If anything, it's just still fun. I'd do it, regardless of the photos.
So we had talked about the impetus for you choosing May for your zine is because that's when the city starts to open up.
Yeah, for sure.
Meaning like things start to get warmer, people start to come outside.
People come
right?
out, yeah. It's like the city literally blossoms like a flower.
What? And Chicago's known for having harsh winters. It's kind of the reputation.
Yeah.
What's it like year in, year out shooting through those harsh winters?
Well, first of all, street photography sucks in general. I mean, like, what other thing can you do where you actually attain some level of skill level and you can just go out for like a week and just fail the whole time? But the winter is rough, man, because no one's out here. We're still coming out. I mean, there's still stuff to get. I mean, especially when it snows. When it snows and there's snowflakes, like I'm particularly interested in that. I think that's photographic. It's tough though, because in the winter, everyone's like completely covered. Now, sometimes you can make a photo out of that. I had one where people were kissing and their hoods were like smashed together. I've been kind of looking for that photo for a while. That couple loved that. Like they saw the flash go off and they're like putting it together. Hey, Mom. Thank you very much. Dude, absolutely. I love with your hand on the hand, dude. Yeah.
Thanks.
Dude, I've been trying to get a photo with this motherfucker on the bus. JCA in our group, he has a good one where it's the backdrop. Top dog. In terms of inspiration, I think you were talking about that earlier. I mean, the number one inspiration for me has been Amato. Like without a doubt. And I feel so lucky that like, I think we met at like an Instagram meetup, like where like models would come, and I think I may have done some modeling, but we met there and then we started shooting the street. And he was kind of already a practiced photographer, so it was really helpful to me. What's up, brother? Got your back. And then what's so cool about it is that like we became such good friends like in the process. And I've just seen like how much hard work he's put in and like how good he's become. And to witness that firsthand is phenomenal. I think it's really helpful. I mean, given how difficult it is and it's a lot of walking, it's a lot of failure, to have somebody alongside you that's doing the work with you. You guys got the hard hats on though, so you guys are all good. Dude, I love people that look good. They know they look good. And even if you don't take a photo, you just kind of like acknowledge. And they're like, yeah, I am killing it. It's my glamour shot, dude. In terms of corners, this is another favorite, Chicago and Michigan. I think I might have a foot fetish. Feet, I don't think they get enough attention in street photography. I'm like getting low. And then I started showing people photos like in our group, and they're like, another foot photo from Chris. like, oh. Have you seen the meme where it says acceptable areas of the leg to like? And it's green up here and like the butt, the thighs, and then it goes red all the way down to the feet. Hey, we're good. It's a challenge. This is my Tinder profile. Okay. Paul, how am I not gonna get dates? How am I not gonna get dates with that?
I mean, come on.
Hit up the DMs. Yeah, in terms of the critique, like it's definitely oriented around that. Like I'm putting together photos that I think have something to them as like a first pass, put those into a pool, and then usually like a couple days before the critique, go through that pool to get 10 that I think, right? And I'll speak for myself in terms of using the critique, it's not always like the 10 best photos. Sometimes it's like I'm trying something new and, you know, am I on the right track? Like, is this worthwhile I'm pursuing? And the way people critique is that way, which is like, okay, I see what you're going for here, or like that type of thing, which is helpful. Yeah.
How, if somebody was new to Chicago or new to the scene, how do they get invited?
Let's meet out here.
Run into you?
The old-fashioned way. Like one universal thing that I think most people doing street photography would talk about is like, how do you develop a style, like a personal style, where in some form or fashion, ultimately someone's going to look at an image they don't know is yours and say, that's a Paulie B photo, right? And I think having feedback helps develop that for sure. What's up, guys? Dude, buff, shirtless guys, I'm going in every time. It always cracks me up too when it's not that warm of a day. Yeah, like, me, I'd be working out fully covered, but you know, that's me.
Are you pretty in tune with the bathrooms are around here?
Oh yeah, we've got our,
There's spots, right?
yeah.
What are the main spots to hit bathroom-wise?
Well, there's this mall that's just south of Ohio that you can go up on the second floor. That one's always clean. Downtown, there's Target. They keep that open, relatively clean. Macy's. The International is the nicest one.
Where's that?
It's the hotel. It's east side of Michigan. It's probably like 500 North Michigan. Oh, perfect. Thanks. It's on the receipt. I love you stepping on that. Perfect, dude. Looking good, dude. I still got a little, dude, that's my YMCA ball days, that lateral movement. Look at that, dude. Still got it. It seems like people like conflict online. I should have hired an actor. I wouldn't have told you about it.
You still have time.
Getting a little fisticuffs. I'm gonna go old boxer style like this. Oh, yes. Dude, you guys are crushing it. Hey, buddy. Yes. Woo! Paul, what if we borrowed that getup, like that setup? Dude, you drive, obviously. I'm in the sidecar. My primary viewpoint is that the world is a horror comedy. That's what I think's going on. And I'm trying to grab a still from the horror comedy. I think it's interesting the way that city planning dictates people's behavior. So like one thing that I would point out is like how often couples show affection on the corner. And it's usually when they're waiting for the street sign. And like couples inevitably end up like kissing or hugging or holding or all that. And I just don't know if like people consider that as they're a member of public life, that oftentimes they're doing things that other people are doing and they're sort of contributing to public life, or if they feel connected to other people that are doing something similar, I don't know. Sometimes I'm thinking about that when I'm trying to capture something. It's like you notice these things about public life that are true, that are often maybe overlooked or aren't noticed. And photography is the vehicle to reveal that, to freeze it, hold it up, and reveal it. That to me is like the surprise. I think so often great photography that I encounter, that I look at, that I like, it's like it's like a behind the cloth type thing. Perfect. Oh, great. On the belt. I can't tell if she's being facetious, but I'm gonna take it.
What'd she say?
She goes, "That's a great picture." It might have been making fun, but look, you're not in charge of my interpretation. Oh, uh-oh. Here we go. How are we gonna make something out of this, huh?
You were talking about how the view of photography is a curtain.
Yeah, photography is revelation.
What images do you have in mind when you think about that? Like what, from anybody, not just you?
Yeah. Well, it's like, like I'm a fan of like Barry Tallis. He does flash, and he does a lot of like long exposure flash, which I think he so excellently leans in to what that affords you. Like it affords you motion while highlighting, a subject. It amps up the drama. He's elevating that in his method, maybe beyond what someone would normally, how they would encounter that moment. I think more than ever, people are very conscious about, probably rightfully so, like creating an image of themselves digitally that's available online. And I think in street photography, maybe the beauty of it or the ability of it is to maybe go contrary to that or undercut that. I guess you could take it the wrong way, but I actually think it's important to capture public life with a viewpoint that isn't necessarily looking to flatter people or, make rosy of a situation. Like, here, I like this intersection here with Ohio. Might just chill here. Perfect. You look good. You look good. When I was growing up, I played sports. That's like the main thing I did. So when I started doing photography and more so street photography, I was already in my 30s. So I would say for mindset, like the main thing that I compare it to naturally is sports. Like there's a court, there's a field. You go on the field, to practice, to perform, to capture the thing. And I say that because sometimes I think where you encounter like the question of like everything's already been photographed. I feel like if you would shift that to a sports perspective, like no one's like, don't take the 3-pointer because someone's already made the 3-pointer from that spot. It's like, well, you haven't. There's also like a time and place. I mean, whatever the motif is, no one's done it maybe in your city at that exact time with those types of clothes on. I think the tough thing if you're doing photography to forget about, because you're always in the present, is that anyone's photos are probably going to gain value over time, historically. Yeah, and I use a sports analogy because I think it matters here too, or it's pertinent, is like, there's just way more people doing street photography. That's my sense. Then if you compare that to say like the 60s, 70s, or 80s of the 20th century, that's amazing. Like why wouldn't we want more people doing it? And furthermore, if you think about it from a sports perspective, it's like, I hear people they'll say something to the effect of like, there's so much garbage out there or like bad photography or what have you. Well, of course there is. There's like a ton of people doing it and everybody can share it. It'd be like, to me, it'd be like showing up at a court at the playground in Iowa and just like ragging on people, playing pickup. It's like, yeah, I mean, people do it. Not everyone's trying to be the best in the world, but it's still cool that they do it. And oh, by the way, you might find somebody that's not a professional that's pretty fun to watch. Like, have you ever seen that video of that huge dude? He's got to be like 350, and he's playing pickup, and he's like just dropping dimes, and he's almost in slow motion, and he's hitting J's in people's faces. Like, that dude's never gonna see the court in college, but there's like a viral video of him taking out people on like this concrete court in the middle of nowhere. Hold on. So are you supposed to be on either side? I'm trying to put the arrows together. So she's your ride or die, you're her ride, and it comes right back around. Ride or die triangle. That's what we all need in life. This little guy. Is that how you keep them calm there? You know, I would say that there are some one-timers in terms of shots that is part of the drug that hooks you. Like, I got a shot that it's a woman with a scarf and it's stuck through her legs. So it's like a bush coming out in the back. I'm like, I've never seen that before or since, you know, and that felt cool. And I don't even know how good the photo is, but I think I got what that thing is. And like, I don't know if I'll ever see that again. Like I got that, you know? I got, on Michigan here, I got a kid, he was chewing gum and he took it out and placed it, like just nonchalantly, just stuck gum. And I got it like right on when he stuck it. And again, that's another one where I'm like, and he was like cracking up. I'm like, dude, you should probably feel a little more shame, but I got that one and I'm like, man, I couldn't write that up. Like I wouldn't have even thought of that.
It feels like you're very hyper aware of everything that's going on. Like,
Try to.
What's like the thought process like right now is like the streets kind of pick up.
Yeah, that's a good question. Like I'm more I'm trying to anticipate like action or gestures. Like I feel like that's more my mode. And with Flash, I'm probably less concerned with light the way that some people are. I definitely think it's a game of anticipation versus reaction. Because I think if you're just looking to react, too often times like you're not going to be at the right point to capture it. So I think like seeing beyond the curve a little bit, and I think in doing the work, I can say for myself, I felt like I've gotten better. Speaking of interactions, the other week, there was like a whole church of Mennonites that were out, and they had these pamphlets. It was like, "Who is God?" And they had a choir, like 50 to 100 people, singing hymns. And these people were so nice. So like Amato and I were like trying to get a couple shots. Of course, he like comes up to me. I'm like, 100%, I'll take a pamphlet. Who is God? Like, yeah, I want to know. And this guy was like so nice. Anyways, at the end of it, he's like, what's your name? I'm like, CP. He's like, I'm gonna pray for you by name. And that seriously stuck with me. And like, I'm not even religious. This guy was so sincere. And I really genuinely think he's praying for me. I'm like, dude, I hope he's praying to the street photography guys, dude. I should have been more specific. But like, those are the surprises that aren't even necessarily do with, you know, actually getting a photo, but just being out in public and like being open, which I try to be. I try to be open in terms of, you know, just whatever's happening to kind of lean in.
You mentioned you're very gesture-based.
Yeah.
What's composition to you? Like, how do you think about composition when you're composing?
Yeah, fill in the frame. I mean, yeah, it's tough. I feel like part of the journey is, you know, at first I just took photos of a lot of things. I don't think I thought too much. Literally, if I got it in frame. But I think now maybe as I've looked at real, you know, more and more really good work, to really get a good street photo, it's like, it's not just the content. I mean, obviously you've got to get the form down. I mean, that's just baseline, right? And I try to be more conscious of that, if that makes sense. Like if I'm seeing something I know I'm gonna take a photo of in a half second, it's like really like looking through the camera, because sometimes you just gotta like an extra beat to let it happen. I can't tell you how many photos where I'm like, just another half second to wait. You know, I'm of the belief that whatever the conditions are, like there's photos out there. Like I may not get tuned in, or I might not be ready to receive them, but they're out there. Yeah, like regardless of conditions, you know? I think that speaks to like the optimism. I don't know, it may not be true, but I think it helps you to hold that belief. So what I'm saying is that today I turned 41 and all of my good photos are in front of me. I sure hope so. Even if you told me that I've already made the best ones I've made, I would still do it. It's just too much fun. It's a thrill, man. This is the most thrilling thing that I've discovered to do in my life. I mean, you always got to look, when there's a sign going by, you always got to look for some contrast with something that's happening in front of you. Oh, perfect. Thank you. On the head, I love it.
So we had just talked about your best photos either being ahead of you or behind you. What about goals? What do you think? How do you, like, what's your goal with all of this?
I want to do more like zines, books, whatever you want to call it. I had a lot of fun doing that. And ultimately, if like there's something that I want to make that I want to put in somebody's hands, even if it's like a really small audience, I'd much rather, you know, it's 15 people that like look through the entirety of the zine, you know, than like individual photos that you're just throwing into the ether. And I can say this as somebody who like has never had many followers on Instagram. At least at one point on Instagram, if you showed it, like if you posted it, you're relatively certain that your audience, however small it was, they're actually going to spend some time with it and see it, however brief that was. Now it feels like you're just, and I don't post that regularly, maybe once every couple months. It feels like you're fucking throwing it down a deep, dark well. So it's not even getting shown to anybody. I felt one of the inspirations for, or the motivation for doing overtime is that I thought, I'm gonna do all this work in May regardless, right? And it felt so depressing to think that all I was gonna do was make 10 images that I was gonna post on Instagram. Like that felt awful. And I'm not even trying to feel bad for myself. Like just, that's genuinely how I felt. So I thought, you know what? If only 3 people are gonna see it, I'd much rather 3 people fucking look at the zine than the Instagram post. Paul, guess how many people have clicked my link for the zine?
56.
I love how generous. It's like 40.
That's close.
Dude, it's been out like, it's been out like 3 months. I'll say this, is that somebody that follows me on Flickr, who I interact with, he left a comment because I shared some of the photos to like promote it on Flickr. And he obviously went through the whole thing. And he like left, and it was kind of like a middling review. It's like, oh, kind of pleasantly surprised that there were pretty good photos throughout it. And I was like, I mean, that's enough to keep me going, I'm being honest. It's like someone clicked it, they spent the time with it, they left a comment. I just gotta start from there, it's 1. Dude, like 100 zines from now, when I'm like 200 years old, I might have 5, 6 comments. But I mean that genuinely, like, it feels good, even at that small of a scale. So I feel like if that feels good, there don't need to be any other expectations on it.
I think that's been not big, but a topic of discussion lately amongst photographers is like, when do you know when to put an image on Instagram or when to hold it back for something else?
For sure.
How do you think about that kind of stuff?
Here, I'm just saying, it felt bad posting it to Instagram when it's not gonna get seen to that many people, and have it, I feel like the nature of it, it's so disposable. I don't even mean that in the context of some grand ambition. I just meant it felt better to put a little extra effort and put it together into something that I think is way more elevated than on a tiny screen. I mean, if anybody wants to, they can at least see the zine, the digital zine, on a bigger screen, and it's in high res, all that. So to answer your question, I would say I'm at a place where I want to hold stuff back. The conundrum though is that if you don't have many followers and maybe you want more of an audience, you want people to see the work, it's inevitable that you're gonna have to keep sharing your best work in a certain sense, right? If you want to grow.
Yeah, the thing that I grapple with is somebody said, if you're a photographer and you have all your 10s and you hold back all your 10s and only share your 7s, you're inevitably gonna be known as your 7s.
As your 7s. And the other thing too that I would say in terms of results, if you think about like power law, to use the 10-point scale, you're gonna have to do the 10 to really move the dial. You could actually do an 8 that's just not gonna move the dial. It's still good, but it really doesn't stand out enough to compel someone to reshare it or what have you. It's like, you have to go full on if you expect someone's really gonna react to it and share it, comment, or whatever, I mean. So, I don't have a solution other than that. I wanna hold some back, but inevitably I'm gonna have to do as good as I can and share some of that stuff.
All right, finish a sentence. I take photos because.
It's a thrill. Plain and simple. I want a sweetheart when I'm old. Which means right now. right now, to be clear. You know, if I was as good as Alex Webb, like there'd be someone like in that reflection there, there'd be someone doubled here, there'd be someone picking their nose here. I think we should end it. I should catch a pigeon for the best photos that are in front of me. Here, right here. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Oh, I was close. Hey, it's been an amazing day to spend with you. I hope that you've seen Chicago, maybe through my eyes, through Paul's eyes. Paul, thank you, man.
Thank you.
It's great being a part of this. What you're doing is really cool. And with that, I'd encourage anybody to come to Chicago. It's a great place to take photos. I'm on Instagram, CP Plunkett. I'm on Flickr, CP Plunkett. Most of all, I do a blog. It's called straightupstreet.blog. I got some articles there. I'm gonna be coming out with a newsletter.
Sick. All right, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Peace.
Peace.
Now when they see us in the streets, all they wanna do is take pics, and I'm like, okay.